Sound check. Sound check. Sound check. All right. Thank you, K-Dub. I can't make any promises, though. All right. Let's see who we got. Just Amber and K-Dub. The first posters. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. We'll have a good time tonight. All right. I'm going to go ahead and start loading my screen then. Okay, I think this is our first visual. And let's get a few announcements out of the way. All right. All right. Welcome, Susan and Elwing. Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Come on in. Good to see you. Come on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Annie Ruler, Kelly Dean, Susan Gardner, K-Dub, Just Amber. Hello, everybody. Hello, 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 hello. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. All right. Looking good. All right. We got Deb to the row. Hey, Deb. Glad you made it. I think Just Amber's first. Let's see. Yeah. All right. We're going to have a good discussion. That's right, right, right. Down in your heart. That's right, Annie. All right, we got 15. From what I can see, that's plenty. We're going to go ahead and get started. All right, everybody's looking good. Seems like we're going to have a pretty good sized crowd tonight. Probably, it's only 8:48. Maybe I should wait another 2 minutes because people are still coming in saying hello. All right, but I have my first visual up. You should be able to see it. And I also want to give a welcome to our newest member, Verity. I think her name is Tracy S. at Verity. But in the chat, you can see, I think the pin name in the chat under the videos is just Verity. So welcome, Verity, our our most recent member. I'll put the name in the chat. Welcome our new member. And of course, you'll get a more formal welcome on the community page. But for now, let's show some love. All right. So if Verity doesn't make it tonight, we'll point to it tomorrow in the community page. All right? Okay, Terry Butler in the house. Hey, Terry. Much love, much love. All right, during our wait, do you see they have DNA of the rock smashing killer in Maryland? Annie Ruler. No, I haven't gotten that news yet. You're the first one to tell me. Thank you. Maryland, huh? All right. Now, we had a great week last week. We had a great members only live on yesterday, which was Wednesday. Okay, and I haven't really scheduled too far ahead, but as you know, the members only meetings are on Wednesdays at 12, and the public meeting is always on Thursdays at 8:45 p.m. The only time that I may have to change that is I may have to move this public live to be a little later on Thursdays, but as far as I know, everything will remain the same. If I have to change something, I'll let you know in advance, because I know when they change the schedule in the church or whatever, or if I have something else I have to do, I usually know in plenty of time. So that's no big deal. Now, let's see. There was something else I had. One moment, it's been a long day. Listen, let's start our discussion with the idea of Brian Kohberger being in Moscow, because I have gotten so many comments from people saying, hey, he's off drugs. He's been off drugs for years and he's been withdrawal in the jail and blah, blah, blah. First of all, okay, let's slow down, take a deep breath. First of all, if somebody was on heroin, probably about 10% of them actually go clean and stay clean. I mean, that's anybody using hard drugs. What's the percentage of people using hard drugs that just, become clean and stay clean and never use a drug again in life after using a hard drug? I'm not talking about somebody smoking marijuana on the weekends when they're off from work. I'm talking about somebody that was strung out on a hard street drug. That's not something that people just get up and walk away from. Now, I will give Brian credit. I personally feel, and since I'm being misquoted, quote me on this, I personally feel that by the time he got to WSU, he had been clean. He looked clean to me. In his pictures at WSU, at the traffic stop in August, he looked clean to me. And when I say clean, I mean off heroin. I don't mean off every drug known to man. I mean he looks clean, like he's not shooting up heroin. That doesn't mean he's clean. I said he looks clean, in my opinion. When I look at the pictures in his history, yes, nosy cap. All right, we got some more people in here. Jaggy Jones, I didn't see you. All right, what's up, Jaggy? You rock too. You rock too. All right, let me start my shout out before I start fussing. Shout out to Jaggy and Nosy. I get y'all together because this what I'm saying is very important. I want you to understand what I'm saying in these videos, so I won't be misquoted, and you won't think that I'm trying to make Brian Kohberger a drug addict all over again just to get some views. That's not what this is. What I'm saying is, if he used heroin, which is a street drug that has you nodding off, a lot of people nod off, don't even wake up. It's not something to play with, really. And so if he beat it, that's beautiful. I wish he had never started. But I'm just saying, this is the point I'm trying to make. Just because he's off heroin does not mean that he's not using uppers to deal with his schedule. Because when he got to WSU, he was not only a student, PhD student, which is very demanding. He was also TA, which is very demanding. He was also across the country from his family home, which means traveling back and forth, which is additional pressure and stress on anybody. It doesn't matter what type of personality he has. That's just universal. That you have that much responsibility, and then you're in a place where you don't have your family supporting you. You can't go home and go in the pot. Mom cooked you something to eat. He didn't have that anymore. And so what I'm saying is, I do believe that he was taking uppers, that he could have been, put it that way. And the only reason I say this is because there has to be a reason why this man was going to Moscow. And just saying he's looking for vegan food is not gonna get it. You don't end up on death row, a death row trial for buying vegan food. We know he was interacting with the police because he was pulled over at least 2 times. And all the times he was pulled over, it might be more times than that. But that's all we have on body cam. Because only thing we can depend on is when they leak body cam and other footage they didn't mean for us to see. That's all we have to go on. Yes, it's totally possible to kick cold turkey, Kelly, and I'm not saying he didn't. I personally feel like when he got to Washington, I feel like he was not using heroin. But at the same time, I can't prove that, and neither can anybody else. I'm saying if I had to say one way or the other if he was using, I would say he wasn't using heroin. In my last video, I'm not talking about heroin. If you look at the names on those bottles at the beginning of the video, it says stress reliever, burnout, stop burnout. It doesn't say anything about heroin. Maybe I shouldn't have put that little picture of the spoon and the pills. Maybe I shouldn't have put that on there. That's just for effect. But if you look at that little that white bottle with the silver cap, and all of the bottles at the very beginning of the video, they say stress relief, stress buster, burnout reliever. I mean, remedies for somebody that has a very high pressure lifestyle, very demanding schedule. That's when I say drugs, those are the drugs I'm talking about. I'm not talking about heroin. I'm talking about uppers. And maybe I didn't do a good job of making that clear. And then again, he could have got a prescription for some that wouldn't have been that strong. But if some quick that's gonna hit and do the job, you pretty much do have to buy it off the street. And maybe he didn't have time to get a prescription. I don't know. It's just speculation. But we have to get to the point where we're allowed to say something about Brian Kohberger other than he's innocent and free Brian Kohberger without being attacked, without a big wave of negativity, because people have engraved on their hearts that this man didn't do it and he has nothing to do with it. And that's speculation. I don't see any evidence of him doing it. I don't see any evidence of him ever being in that house. But he's got to be connected to this some kind of way. They had to get his name some kind of way. And we can't just ignore that and just tiptoe through the tulips saying free Kohberger with poster children, and we don't know for sure what's going on. We don't know what this man, we know he was going to Moscow. We know he was. And you can take uppers without it showing. You're not going to look like a strung out heroin addict on TV if you're taking uppers. That's just something, that's like drinking you look just like somebody that drinks a lot of coffee. It's people that drink 2 or 3 cups of coffee in the morning before they get started. That's taking uppers. That's taking uppers. They sit up there and drink all of that coffee. Strong black coffee. All right? And some of this Italian cappuccino and shots, that stuff got more caffeine in it than a bag of cocaine. So I'm just saying, back up. Let's just calm down. Because when I say Brian Kohberger and drugs, I'm not putting him back in heroin in high school. I'm saying he's taking uppers. All right? So I'm not, I don't want to just keep beating on it all night, but I got so many comments in the last video where people didn't understand. And I thought when I put the bottles at the beginning with the little blue pills, and you read the bottles, what they say, that you would say, okay, she's saying uppers and not a bag of heroin or whatever you put heroin in. I know it's brown and it's in some kind of bag. And these days they're mixing it with fentanyl and stuff. I'm not saying he's doing that. I don't believe he was doing that. If he was, and he's a heck of a guy to carry on with what he does, what his schedule was, and then turn around and do that. I mean, he's a bad guy. He's very strong if he can do that. All right, what's up, Rusty? All right, shout out to Rusty. So, for the record, when I say drugs, I believe that he's using uppers. I believe he was going to Moscow to maybe get something, some pills or something quick that he could, keep up with his schedule so that he could cope. Let me put that word in there. Maybe that'll soften this up. Uppers to cope because he had a lot of responsibility. He already seems like he's ADD, OCD, or FGFD, or YWZ, or something. If you watch the body cam of him when he got stopped by WSU, the lady, the cop that told him, his car was wrong in the computer, remember? Because in the computer it didn't even say Elantra when she put his information in. All right, so just so we're clear on that. Now, if he was going to Moscow to get him a little baggie of pills or whatever, get his little paycheck from the school or whatever, that would explain. All right, but if he did have a Coca-Cola habit that is too expensive for someone with a TA job, so he had to have some kind of side job support that habit. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about hard street drugs. I'm talking about uppers. And some uppers you could buy over the counter. You don't even have to go on the street to get it. But my thing is, he probably wanted privacy, of course. Whatever he was doing, he didn't want to do it in Pullman because they'll be in his business. And then some of these uppers, they don't show up in your urine as drugs. They really don't. Oh, agape love in the house. Let me stop and give everybody some love then. Okay, if he was going to, whatever he was doing, I believe he was going to Moscow for privacy also was top on the list. All right, shout out to Agape. It probably was. I'm sure he did go shopping there for food and vegan and whatever. But that didn't draw heat to him. Pulling out of a grocery store at night and having somebody pull you over for your seatbelt, it's more to it than just this guy was in the grocery store getting food. I'm sorry. I have to say this. Just to be fair. Because I can't just say Kohberger's innocent and just, I can't just be one-sided, biased, and not say the truth if it doesn't make Brian Kohberger look like somebody innocent being crucified. If it's right, it's right. All right. Oh, Steve in the house. Shout out to Steve, okay? Hey, Steve. If it's the truth, it's the truth. It doesn't matter how it makes Brian Kohberger look, because it's the truth that's gonna set him free. As a matter of fact, depending on what he was doing when he was driving around, the truth is gonna send him to the electric chair. if he don't play his cards right. I'm just saying, it's some uppers out there you can buy over the counter in the pharmacy stores like CVS, Walmart. I don't know what kind of stores y'all have that sell prescriptions, like Walgreens or Walmart, or places with pharmacies in there. You can buy some of that stuff like that. And somebody brought up the point that he would have to be able to afford it. That's even more of a reason why I think he was only using certain kind of uppers, to where he could have got maybe 30 pills, and that would have lasted him over a month. He wouldn't have had to keep going back too much, or would have lasted 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how they sell it. He wouldn't have had to be there every other day. And he could afford that. If he needed the coke, his parents probably helped him get it, if they know it was helping him make it through there. Andy Ruler, he was lured there for something. Well, nobody lured him when they pulled him over that night, Sunday night. Nobody lured him these times he got pulled over. He's doing that. Hey, Denny, shout out to Denny. And I see something else I want to dispel. I don't want to entertain the thought that Brian was an undercover anything, because Brian barely, would seem to me, was barely handling what he had on his plate as a student and a TA. We can't make this man a student, a TA, undercover cop, a DoorDash driver, a drug dealer. He can't be all these things. This guy came from Pennsylvania. We know what his focus was: to get his degree and to be a TA so he could have a free ride 9 times out of 10, and to become a policeman or somebody in law enforcement. Those were his goals, and that's something everybody can agree on. We don't have to argue about that. And so whatever doesn't fit into that, he barely got hired as a policeman. So how is he an undercover cop or detective and a teacher and a student? Come on, we have to stop this. We have to stop this. Think about yourself. Could you handle being a PhD student and a TA and an undercover cop your first semester across the country? No, you could not. No, you could not. And if you could, you would be using uppers. I guarantee you'll be using something to cope, because you could never go to sleep. Kohberger was a member of the village. Steve, you know what? Okay, all right. I'm gonna just ignore you, because I know you're gonna show out. You're gonna show out. You just can't help it. Now listen. No, I don't believe he had any responsibility other than student, TA. Because that together, just being a PhD student alone, will have you up at night and not being able to do some of the things you want to do. Just being a PhD student. And then you turn around, you're a TA, you got to grade papers. So he grading papers and he's an undercover cop too? Come on, we got to stop this. We have to use what makes sense. Okay, so I can't interrupt your theories. You have a right to theorize just like I do. But I'm just telling you, I don't believe he had any other jobs other than being a PhD student and being a TA. And there's a possibility that he was going to Moscow to grab him a couple of pills or a couple of uppers, a little bottle of something. I'm just thinking he could have been doing that. And once you go in a neighborhood buying stuff like that, you become hot just like everybody else. And they probably saw his car going in and out of these areas. Or maybe they didn't. But I don't believe that Corporal Duke pulled this man over at night for not having on a seatbelt 11 o'clock at night. I mean, a corporal didn't have anything else to do but pull this guy over. His car didn't look anything like a drug dealer. He doesn't have tints on his windows. So what did he have to hide? Why would you pull this pull him over for a seatbelt. His car looks totally unstreet. All right, Susan. Shout out to Susan. I'm going to start reading some of your comments and see what you got to say. But I don't want to spend time talking about Brian being an undercover cop because just a month ago, we were just trying to figure out if this man stabbed 4 people. And so we can't just go from that to him being an undercover cop when they sending his DNA all over the country. Did that sound like somebody that had any official ties to law enforcement before this happened? The way they busted in his parents' house, did that look like somebody that was undercover? Because they didn't just go get him and put him in jail. They bust the windows and they bust the front door down in those people's house in Pennsylvania. So does that look like somebody with any kind of official business with law enforcement? Annie Ruler, why did the cop not give him a ticket? Shout out to Annie Ruler. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you the first brain. Why didn't he give him a ticket and why didn't he have his body cam on? No ticket, no body cam. They pulled this guy over and then they closed the case in September. Annie Ruler got the first brain. Because we're on the same page here. Thank you. Corporal Duke did not turn on his body cam when he pulled Brian over in front of that Winco. He didn't give him a ticket, and according to the court records, they closed the case the next month because we know Brian would have showed up if they gave him a court date. How could it be open and then closed if he didn't have a ticket? I don't understand that. So him being stopped by Corporal Duke is very suspect. It was dark. It was nighttime. And then to say this guy didn't have on his seatbelt, that's why a corporal, that's rank. He didn't have anything else to do but to be out pulling somebody over. And you can see straight through his car. He didn't even have a tint. He doesn't have rims on his car. It's probably dirty. Based on the way he looked in Indiana, it was probably dirty. And so why? He didn't have anything else to do. Oh, NASDAQ, baby. Oh, shout out to NASDAQ, baby. NASDAQ. All right, let's get in. Let me read some comments. See what y'all saying here. Before I get too lost in my plan. Because I had a couple other things I wanted to add to that, but I think I'm going to let it rest. Let's see. Let me go back. BK was smart to not buy from WSU student or teacher or came here to infiltrate. I'm not sure what you mean by infiltrate, Annie. Nosy Cat. At 2:25 a.m. that night, Whitman County was called to assist Latah County on State Road 272. And when their record log goes silent till 10 a.m. But they told us he went the other direction, south. Shout out to Nosy Cat. I'm not sure if I knew about that. Shout out to Nosy Cat. Y'all, what you guys say about that? 2:25 that night, it was a call to assist on State Road 272. And then the record log goes silent until 10 a.m. But they told us he went the other direction. Okay, let me write that down. Let me write that down. State Road 272. Thank you very much. Okay. Let's see. Kelly Dean. I have heard that BK, because in my small town, I had to get out. There is a very fine line. They say, shout out to the men in blue. All right? Shout out to Kelly Dean. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you have to move away from your family to get, get what you need out of life. But I think the Kohbergers were standing behind Brian and hoping he would make it all the way because they probably knew he had that potential. All the people that talked about him in the last video or the one before was saying he was very intelligent. So I'm sure he was walking around the house at 5 and 6, speaking very cognitively, I guess is the word. And his parents knew he had potential, and so they probably were banking on him going to WSU so they can retire. He's getting ready to get this great big job and, come back to the family home maybe. Or he was changing everything over to Washington like he was going to live there. But I'm sure he would send some money back home to help his family once he got where he was going with his career. I would. I would. So he didn't have room for foolishness. One thing I can say about Brian, for all you Brian lovers, one thing I can say about Brian that should pacify you is that he was about business. You can tell by his Twitter. You can tell by how he carried himself at the school. You can tell by the fact that they chose him to be a TA that Brian was about his business. You can tell by the fact that he made it to the PhD program, that he made it to that level, that Brian was about his business. And if he was going to Moscow for whatever reason, it was something to help him get where he was going in his career. Even going to buy uppers, that ties into him being able to get the job done without running out of gas as a TA, and as a student. Everything he did was career driven. Everything. And I just can't see this guy having a reason to go kill anybody when he was at a place in his life that he probably dreamed about. He probably dreamed about being in that PhD program and being a TA. You know how it goes. He probably dreamed about that. So why would he get all the way to Washington and decide he wanted to just go be a serial killer? Talking about some survey online. That's the dumbest thing I heard in a long time. That the survey is further evidence he had some psychopathic tendencies. He's supposed to do that type of work. Matter of fact, we should see more of those types of things online, and we don't. That's why it's always a call for papers for forensic and violent crimes and stuff. You look online in these research circles, it's always a call for papers. And so here he was getting ready to have one, and they manipulating it to be something about murder. Wow. All right, let's see. Agape Love, I still think it was eating at the grub truck in the poncho. It was. Shout out to Agape. He finally admitted it was him because we know it was him. He might think we're stupid, but we know it was him in the poncho. And I believe he had on that poncho because he was selling out there. I think that's why he was there. Because he left his job in Pullman, a restaurant. He didn't need food. He was at a restaurant with food. He just left a restaurant with fine dining where he probably could get the food for free. He didn't go to the grub truck to buy food. I believe he was out there selling to those kids. I believe he probably always went to the grub truck and he was selling to those kids. I believe he had something on him that night selling it. That's my belief. I can't prove it, but if I had to bet on it, I would bet that he was dealing. All right? Let me try to scroll down. I got a little buffering going on here. Okay, let's see. It's the intellectual property that he done. I know. The intellectual property. I'm not sure what you mean by that, Kelly. All right. Nosy Cat as in brought product and cash to Colorado for the owners. He put a lot of miles on West Coast. All right. Not undercover, but scouted for a minute. Yeah, okay. Goppy Love, I think it's highly possible Enon and Kohberger were at least acquainted. It is. It is highly possible. I agree with that. All right. Let's see. I think it's highly possible LOL, Steve. Steve tripping. He was just going about it the wrong way. He wanted in law enforcement. Yes. What do you mean he was going about it the wrong way? What was he doing wrong in his career pursuit, Kelly? Annie Ruler, the college kids that flip are not at cop office meetings. The college kids that flip are not at cop office meetings. I don't know, am I losing it tonight? Some of this stuff I'm not getting. You guys, what do you mean? The college kids that flip. Okay, I got you. All right. He was just going about it, flip. Steve, okay, I'll bite. Which village person was it? Oh, now here you go. Shout out to Nosy Cat. Oh, you get ready to egg Steve on in his ludicrousy. Which one of the village people? Let me hear this. If the dealer thought he was undercover, he could have been set up for that. Shout out to Juggy Jones. Yeah. All right. Maddie and Kaylee maybe knew something. Shout out to Deb. All right. I found I had to go from cop shop to PI. BK was a little awkward. Didn't know how to mix. Yes, he is. Maybe that's the word I was trying to use. All right. We have a super chat from LA. $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much. Very cute. I love that little guy right there. Thank you so much, LA. And let's show some love, shall we? For getting that rolling. Thank you so much for chat revenue. Shout out to LA and much love to you, ma'am. Thank you. Greatly appreciated. All right. And I didn't see you come in, LA. I don't see how I missed that. All right. Thank you very much, LA, for a $9.99 super chat sticker. Yeah. Now, where are we in these comments? LA, get in on the conversation now. I didn't even see you in here. You snuck in on me. You snuck up on me. Okay, let's see. Walk to the grub truck still bothers me. Deb Tudoro. Yeah. Why didn't Jack see the girls home? He was at the corner club. Why didn't he take them to the grub truck and then take them home? Why didn't Jack see them home? Is what I'm wondering. That would have been a polite thing to do. He seemed like he didn't want to have anything to do with Maddie and Kaylee. Or is it just me? It seemed like he didn't want anything to do with Maddie and Kaylee. I can see the Ellie calling him the R word. All right, Kelly. The owners are held suspect, Juggy. Why did cop not give him a ticket? Yeah, we those cops spend a lot of time harassing the students. Shout out to Denny. And this is true, but I just can't see it at night. I mean, it was dark outside. How can you see somebody in a seatbelt? All right, he was a pansy, got in way over his head in an innocent way. Right. All right, let me pull up one of my articles. We'll do it like that. All right, this gonna take me 1 second. All right, I want to go back to the discussion about the car on Taylor Avenue that night. We talked about this in the member live, and I definitely want to go back to it. So give me a minute to change my screen. This is something I think it was 3 o'clock, and I just want to know You know who this was. I should have opened the browser, but I'm not going to do it because I don't want to have tech problems tonight. It's already buffering. All right. Let me find this thing on my desktop. Yeah. All right. One sec. One sec. Now, this article says that okay, did y'all know that Maddie and Jake were broken up? NASDAQ baby. Shout out to NASDAQ baby. Listen, we knew, and not only did we know, it's like Xander's the only one that had a man. On all the pictures we see, Ethan is there at the house. I have never seen a picture of Jack D inside 1122 King Road. Has anybody else seen that? Has anybody else seen that? Has anybody else seen a picture of Jack D inside 1122 King Road? Just one time. Anybody seen that? I have not. I have never seen Jack D decor inside 1122 King Road. Not on one picture. Now, I'm trying to put this thing on here. We'll just keep talking until it comes up. All right. Only one seem to have a man to me is Xana. That's the only ones I really that Ethan's the only one I seen in there up in there as far as a boyfriend. And Hunter Johnson. That's what we need to talk about next. But let me find this and then we'll go there. He was sitting right here on my desktop. Okay. Okay, I got it. Now, I've always said that Hunter Johnson is at that house every day, seems like, before the crimes. And they say he's the one that found the bodies. And they say he's the one that talked to the dispatcher on 911. But yet nobody thinks that he has any information. You know, I don't necessarily believe he had anything to do with it, but I definitely think he knows who did it. I think Hunter Johnson knows exactly who did it, and he probably has to keep his mouth shut. Right? Because he was at the house every day. Look how many times he's on the body cam. It's almost like he slept over there. Okay, here's the article. And I'm gonna read it as soon as I see that you can see it. All right. I think we got it. Now, the article says this is this I don't understand. They told us to look for a white Elantra. And they said that in the beginning, when they first started telling us why they arrested Brian, even before they arrested Brian, they were telling us that their biggest tip was the car. That was when they first even admitted they had any information or any leads in the case. Okay, December 7th, they put the press release out, but according to the New York Post, they were looking for the white Nissan, and then they were looking for the white Elantra 11 through 13, and then they were looking for any year of an Elantra after 11, if you ask me. But on this article, they're saying Moscow police debunk rumors around white car seen in body cam video from night of Idaho student murders. So they told us to look for this car. They told us the car is playing a major role in identifying who did it. And then when we see a car with our own two eyes in the background on body cam at 3 o'clock in the morning, they try to shut it down. Now, what's that about? That's what I want to know. If Hunter Johnson was Ethan's best friend, he would be there. Ethan was there a lot. That's what I'm saying. Shout out to Elwing. I'm going to give you a brain. Because Hunter was there. He was up in there right along with, even if we say he and Ethan were not best friends or whatever, as much as Hunter was over there on those body cam footage and stuff, I would still say he was there the night everything happened. I would just believe he was there. And Elwin, you're right. If Ethan was there, Hunter was there. And so Hunter knows something. He knows a lot. And we don't hear anything about him as a suspect or somebody in protective custody or somebody with, that like Dylan. He's not in the PCA as giving a statement. He's the one that called 911. He's supposedly the one that discovered the bodies, but Hunter is nowhere in the PCA. How is that possible? How is that possible? I'm interested in the 4 million walking single file. Shout out to NASDAQ, baby. Because this is what's going on when the car passed by. Remember? The car passed by on the body cam while the man was talking to the guys that were drinking alcohol in the field. And they're telling us in this article to disregard the car. I don't think they can tell us that. Be honest with you, how can you say just, that's not the car? How can you say that? How can you say that? How can they say that the car is not related? And it's a white car or a light colored car. It's there at 3. It's headed towards. It could have turned into King Road for all we know. So how can they just come and tell us, nah, that's not what we're looking for, when the radius for the search warrant says 3 to 5? The radius for the phone records and for the GPS coordinates is 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. And the car that passed by in the field when that cop had his camera on those guys, it could have been a suspect car. Isn't this the truth? I mean, okay, let me go back to the article and read it because I don't want to open up another browser. I'm hanging by a thread as far as this tech right now. So I'm not going to do that. But I'm going to read a little bit of this article, the part that's mind-blowing to me, and then I'll read some more of your comments. All right, it says, video circulated on social media show a Moscow police officer already. They're saying this on social media, like to make it unofficial. Oh, it's just the internet sleuth. messing around again. Hey, this is on a body cam. All right? Video circulated on social media showed a Moscow police officer speaking. This was on police body cam. And so that's a clue right there that they're trying to downplay this video like just something we passing around on social media. This was an official body cam with a timestamp. And let me see who wrote this article. This is Rachel Sharp and Andrea Blanco. And this article was written on December the 8th, the day after the press conference. The day after the press conference showing that stock photo of a car. This article came out and said, disregard the body cam. All right, it says, the interaction, which police said stemmed from an alcohol offense, took place just before 3 a.m., putting it right up against the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. window in which the students were thought to have been killed. The video drew rampant speculation online, especially in prolific Reddit communities, due to both the timestamp and the fact that a white vehicle was seen in the background. And so they said it's a white vehicle too. I was saying it could be white. They're saying it was a white vehicle in this article. Isn't that crazy? Are we just to put this to bed and just act like we don't see the car at 3 o'clock, 2:50? This is the same time that Maddie and Katie were supposed to be calling at 2:52. Remember that? This is the same time that they were supposed to be calling. Kaylee was supposed to be calling Jack's phone. It's the same time the car passed by. Now that's something. That's something. It really is. All right, let's get some of your comments. All right. I'm just scrolling down. All right, they thought he was a mess up. Kelly Dean. Shout out to Kelly. All right, let's see. The police called them, then dead air. Whoa. What do you mean by that, Agape Love? That info about the police call and then dead air. All right. Maybe not an undercover cop, but perhaps an informant. K-Dub, I'm going to give you a brain. He had some business in Moscow, didn't he? He was doing something. I don't think he was killing anybody, but he was doing something that's significant to this, solving this case. What was he doing in Moscow that time of night, and he had to be to school the next day? What was he doing? What was he doing? He could have been an informant. Now that, to me, sounds reasonable. Let me show y'all some love. Send some hearts up. All right, much love. I'm telling you, he could have been an informant. I can see that. Okay, you don't have, that's not a 40-hour-a-week job to be an informant. All you got to do is keep your eyes and ears open. And then if something jump off and you hear about it in the grapevine, you call and you tell somebody. That's all it takes to be an informant. And then you get paid a little money, and so maybe he needed that little extra change for his uppers. That makes sense to me. The Elantra they found in Oregon connected to the owner is the perp, which match BK. Let me see if I can scroll down a little bit. Juggy. Hold on. All right. Joaquin Tonka, good to see you. Let me give you a shout out. Joaquin. All right. Shout out to you. And let's see. Get a profile for CTL peeps. Go on. Much higher than informant, in my opinion. Why do you say that, NASDAQ, baby? Because, I mean, it's informants on every level. Why would, I mean, DNA is the informant. All right. Shout out to Elwing. Okay. Shout out to Elwing. I'm just going to say it. Olivia started having her makeup done. Looks professional. After the first few interviews, it bugged me. LA, what are you saying? Shout out to LA. Let's see. Okay. Keep killing it with this channel. Cheers. All right. Much love to you. Juggy, let me give you another shout out. Much love. All right. Now, they're holding back DNA, just saying. Kelly Dean, who's holding back DNA? Who's holding it back, and what do you mean? Is this, are the authorities holding it back, or what? What's your theory for the DNA? We haven't really been on the DNA for a while. What's your theory for the DNA? BK was doing documentation on criminal profiling. That's informant. Hey, that's a good point, Kelly. That's a good point. Doesn't necessarily make him an informant, but it's definitely in the informant category. That's true. We have to look at that. Because you get accepted to that particular program at U of W, you are scooped up by an agency. All right? Yeah, but when are you scooped up? Aren't you already scooped up if you're a TA? Doesn't that make you scooped up if you are actually helping teach some kids at a university? Aren't you already? Well, I guess that's in the educational angle. You're saying from the criminology angle. So maybe not. Maybe not necessarily. All right. All right. I can see what you're saying. I see you. 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 All right. Give me 1 minute. I think I'm going to have some orange juice. It's orange juice night. Now, let's see. Now, our next point that we need to talk about, are we done with the car? Does anybody have any idea who could have been in the white car on Taylor Avenue at 2:57 or whatever? When they say that, when the timestamp, we can see the car passing by on Taylor Avenue, headed in the direction of King Road. And they're telling us that this car is not a part of the investigation, but I beg to differ. And they're saying it was a white vehicle in the early morning hours on the day of the murders. All right, and then it says, listen to this. But Moscow police have now shut down speculation around the video. How can you shut down speculation? Is that possible? No, it's not. Telling the Independent on Thursday that the incident on the body camera footage is in no way connected to the murders, and the white car in the background is not the same one they are seeking information about. Okay, how can you say that? Because you haven't shut down any speculation. I can tell you that right now. People gonna speculate until Jesus come back. So you haven't shutting us down from looking into that car. And we'll go all the way to Oregon looking for a wrecked white car. Here's one right here passing right in front of the house, and we supposed to just stop looking at it because somebody in the police department told us it's not related. Come on now, that's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous, really. I'm trying to see what you said, Juggy. The rest of the let's see if I can see it here. I'm gonna see if I can see it on my phone. Tetra 5578. Shout out to Tetra. All right, good to see you. Good to see you. Let me send y'all some love, everybody. Let's loosen up a little bit. Shout out to Tetra 5578. Much love. Okay, I'm going to tell y'all something here. And I know some people are going to be like, what? But this is just something else I also came up with. All right, it's the pedo owner, the perp car, which matched BK. That's what Juggy was saying. All right, I couldn't see it all. Okay, shout out to you, Juggy Joe. Okay, now let me put this on the screen. And I already know what somebody might say. And then we'll save Enan for next. He'll be next. Now, what do you think about this one? I personally believe that Kaylee brought the heat. I don't know if she was on OnlyFans. I don't know if she met somebody on there and he was not a safe person or what. But I believe Kaylee is a part of the reason for the crime. I believe she was the target. I just do. And I believe it because, number one, they didn't have any school that Friday. It was Veterans Day. It was, what wasn't Veterans Day, but that was the day the schools closed to celebrate Veterans Day. It's the 11th, November the 11th. So that following Monday, they were open for business. And so what I'm saying is, the crime happened late Saturday night after the game. This was planned. This was planned. And that's another thing that we have to stop ignoring the facts. All right? We can tell. I'm looking for my, oh, I know what I can do. We have to stop ignoring the facts. And one big fact here is that this crime was planned. Somebody went in there and did this damage, and they had enough time to do it. That's one reason why we know it was planned. There was enough time to do it because if they meant to get Bethany and Dylan, they could have got them. I don't believe they were there. And if they were there, they were participants or bystanders. They let them in. They let the killers in. I'm talking about the 4 victims, Maddie, Kaylee, Xana, and Ethan. I believe this was planned. So it's not a matter of somebody getting mad with somebody at the corner club or somebody snapped at the grub truck or somebody got mad, on a dime and just went and killed 4 people. That's not what this is. This was planned. And so no matter what conversations they held at the corner club or the grub truck or coming down Main Street on the way home, this crime was already planned. This crime was already planned before they even got up and went out that night. That's my belief. Now, is there anybody that doesn't see it that way? Maybe you can share your thoughts. and give us another perspective. Because I personally believe this was planned. This is not something somebody snapped and 20 or 30 minutes later they're doing it. Because if it had been that way, it wouldn't have been enough. It wouldn't have been so much time in between things. If somebody snapped and did something, Bethany and Dylan would have went on and called the police. Right? Yes, no, maybe, somewhat. I believe this was planned. Robin, Healing Heart too. Hi, everyone. Oh, we got Robin Latham in the house. Oh, my goodness. Shout out to Robin, one of my favorite people. Yeah, you see I got your article up here as one of our talking points. Opie wants to marry Uncle Cliff. Lord have mercy. Who is Uncle Cliff? Shout out to Steve. Who is Uncle Cliff? Please tell me. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let me see. I saw that on a let me see. I've had more definitive cases in county court. This is crap. Shout out to Kelly. County court. Y'all are something else. Party house on a Saturday night, awful quiet, yes. Let me give you a brain for that, NASDAQ, baby. Any other night, everybody and their cousin would have been over there in their house. Because we've been seeing that on body cam and social media posts. It was always some people over there drinking and stuff, wasn't it? And so, I said a brain. And so, why the night of the football game, nobody was over there? I don't understand that. No, but what? How? That's how you know it was planned. Because usually it's full of people and it's people wandering around on the outside to where you can see some foolishness coming. There's usually a lookout in the window. What happened to him? What happened to him? I saw that on a channel called Watching the Watchers. Okay. Shout out to Nosy Cat. What happened to the lookout in the window? What happened to Hunter Johnson at the front and the back door? What happened to the guy that says, I just searched all the rooms and there's nobody in there? What happened to him? That's how you know it was planned. That's how you know it was planned. Number one, they had time to do it. They went up to the third level in a house, killed 2 people. One of them they had to fight. And then they came and killed 2 more people. And at least one of them they had to fight. And they had time to do it. They had time to do it. Now you tell me it was planned. I got another theory. I need to run it by you. Let me find my screenshot to put up here. I got another theory, and I haven't really said this one at all. But I want to see what you think about it. Hold on, let me put it on the screen. Tell me what you think about this. Because I think Kaylee was on OnlyFans. I think she was making money on there. I think they helped her get a car. I think that's the reason she broke up with her boyfriend. And I think that she might have met somebody on there that was no good. Or somebody she promised something and didn't deliver. and all hell broke loose. Excuse the expression. It's possible. It's possible. All right, this is my new theory. Along with Kaylee, it sort of goes hand in hand. I'm sorry, my stuff is running slow tonight. I'm on the Mac, and it's usually it pulls the load, but I got a lot of buffering and weird stuff going on, and I don't have time to troubleshoot. So it's taking a little longer for me to load this stuff than usual, but that's all right. I'm trying to tell my new theory. It's a small one, but with a big impact. Let me see, where's my thing at? I'll try it again. Put it on the desktop. Now, you tell me if this makes sense, because I might make a video about it. I can't, let me just tell it, because this is not working. Now, my theory is, listen to this now, and it's concerning Murphy. Kathy Jean in the house. All right, Kathy. Shout out to Kathy Jean. All right, let me send everybody some love. This is my theory. Now, if you think about it, what is one main reason that somebody would put a dog in the room? I'm gonna see if somebody gets it. There's one reason why Murphy could have been in that room with the door closed that we haven't talked about. And this is another reason I think that Kaylee is the target. Tell me a reason in the chat why somebody would put their dog in the room. And whoever gets it is going to get a brain. Why would you put your dog in the room and shut the door in your house? There's a reason we haven't talked about. Come on now. I'm waiting on you in the chat to tell me. Come on, let me know. Come on, Robin. Come on, Agape. Give me a reason why, any reason why, somebody would put their dog in the room and shut the door in their house. There's one reason that I'm looking for, and I'm willing to give a brain for it. All right, now. All right, precinct obligations. Okay, that's a very good angle for us to try to investigate. All right, that's really good. Let me write that down. We had something else here too. What was it? Oh, it was the call log on State Road 272. All right, and so let's put down precinct obligations. I don't want to speak on that until I do some research and make sure I got all my ducks in a row. But those are two very strong points that we got and probably end up being in a video this weekend. All right? Now, listen. I'm still asking about, oh, you just got here, hey, Hard Truth. Okay, I see your post now, LA. I didn't see it before. Oh, Sloothy Goosey. Oh, we got Sloothy in the house. Shout out to Sloothy. I didn't see you, LA. You snuck in here. All right? Shout out to Sleuthy. Maybe you'll get the brain. I'm looking for a specific reason that somebody will put their dog in the room. And this is something we haven't talked about. Somebody tell me. Nobody wants the brain? Jaggy? Somebody? Kelly Dean, tell me. I want to know the reason why somebody would put another. Okay, LA is back on it. I want to know why somebody. Super sticker for my super fave. Oh, that was so sweet. I don't know why I missed you coming in this stuff here. Oh, my chat must have rolled all the way back up. Keep an eye on Bethany too, little Miss Reno. Shout out to Agape. I'm waiting for y'all to tell me the reason for the dog in the room. I'm willing to give a brain. Maddie's mom and Xana's mom. Yeah, we talked about that. And that's why the cops are all quiet and the parents are going to sue because they know they were informants. Shout out to Jaggy. I'm still looking for about the dog. You get in a weird space where you feel invincible when you're doing investigations professionally. Yeah, that's true. Invincible, ego, narcissist comes to mind. Shout out to Kelly. Narcissism. LA, I was late. Okay. Usually I see when you come in, people come in. All right. I hope Brian is totally exonerated. Kathy Jean. If he didn't do it, so do I. I just don't feel like he did any murdering. But I'm not convinced that he wasn't in Moscow buying street drugs or something, some type of upper. I'm not, unless somebody can prove to me that is just impossible, that's going to stay on my list. All right, I'm going to give y'all 2 minutes to tell me why the dog was locked in the room. Because if I have to break it to you, then nobody gets the brain. Elwing to lock him up. All right, why? Why would Kaylee want to lock Murphy up? Tell me. Why? That's half of it. I have a guess, but I don't want to say it. Come on, Rob, and tell us. Somebody, Elwing got half of it. I need the other half. Or cause you were what, AK Lauren? And when you come in? Shout out to AKA Lauren. And what in the world are you writing in this chat? Oh my goodness. Cause you didn't want Jack to come stealing. All right? All right? To shut the dog up, Kelly. To shut him up, yeah. Murphy need to go forensics, not the pound, because Jack D love Murphy. Yep, he did. He does, not past tense. Getting the good Just shout out to Just Angel. Y'all got the wrong thing on your mind. You and who else just was saying something crazy like that? Woo! Y'all something else. That is a reason though. I'm just saying that's half of it. Now, shout out to Just Angel. All right. So they're saying that Kaylee was getting busy. That's why she locked the dog in the room. Now, all these are good. All of it. A lot of people are saying hook up. A lot of people are saying, and that's kind of it. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what I was looking for. Because they cared about the dog. Yes, that's true. Agape. But think about this. If you have a dog, okay, I know some of y'all have a dog in here. I know Robin has a dog. I know y'all have a dog. Have you ever locked your dog up because somebody came over that don't like dogs or scared of dogs? Have you ever done that? Have you ever had to lock your dog in a room because the person or people that came to your house, they're scared of dogs? Or your dog don't like them and start acting crazy, so you have to go on and put him back because these people maybe never came to the house before and the dog doesn't know them and he start acting crazy, and so you put him in a room so they won't be scared. Agape said because they cared about the dog. I thought you were saying scared there for a minute. But if we think along the lines of somebody being scared of Murphy, okay, who would that be? Who would have come over there that she would have to put Murphy in the room? Who would come to the house and to the point where Kaylee would have to put Murphy in the room? Who would it be? It wouldn't be Hunter. The dog knows Hunter. The dog, okay, if she put the dog away because somebody was scared of the dog or didn't get along with the dog or just scared of dogs, period, who would that be? Who would she put the dog away for? Kaylee. Who will come over there and so Murphy doesn't wake them up early? Yeah, shout out to Denny. Shout out to Denny. Yeah. So Murphy won't wake him up. Yeah. Jack D to save Murphy. Shout out to Terry Butler. All right, you've been a little quiet, Terry. Conjugal visit. Boy, y'all in the mood for love tonight. Is it contagious? Because, boy, y'all got love on your mind. Love and happiness. Ooh! Boy, conjugal visits. Shout out to LA. Y'all got love on your mind tonight. Is it in the air? Ooh. I don't know what to say. Y'all, look what y'all got on your mind on a Thursday night. Okay. Listen. If Kaylee put the dog away because somebody came over there that doesn't like dogs, Kelly Mack, so they don't get out the main door. Shout out to Kelly Mack. I didn't see you come in either. Shout out to Kelly Mack. We got, how many Kellys we got in here? 3? Kelly Dean, and Kelly Mack. I think we got 3 Kellys in here tonight. It's Kelly night. Joaquin and Tonka. All right. Now let's see what's going on. They were doing drugs. Woo! That's hot right there. Joaquin. Shout out to Joaquin. That's hot right there. Doing drugs. And don't want the dog to come knock it off the table or try to eat some of it. I'm going to give you a brain for that. I'm sorry. I should have given you a brain. Joaquin, I'm going to give you a brain for that because when you think about it, the dog, they might not have wanted the dog to get in the middle of that. you know, or digest something he shouldn't have digest. Maybe they had drugs out preparing the drugs for sale, bagging them up or whatever. Didn't want the dog getting into it. That's a powerful reason right there. That wasn't my reason, but that's powerful. Drugs or sex, that's all. It's one or the other or both, huh, Robin? One or the other. So Murphy done wake him up. The drugs. Okay, I'm done. Sorry. Y'all tripping tonight. Now let's see. Murphy was put in room by the perp. Okay, we've been assuming that. We've been assuming that, Kelly. Kelly Dean. Okay, I told you we got Kelly Dean, and Kelly Mack. Got it. All right, Kelly Dean. I'm going to say Kelly Dean. We've been assuming that the perp put the dog away. We know if we go by the police timeline, he didn't have time to put the dog away. But assuming, this happened at a different time, we've been assuming that the perp put the dog away. And we really not allowed to do that. We don't have any evidence that the dog was out when the perpetrators came in. Love relationships, you see? Everybody in the chat is saying, hey, Kaylee was about to get her groove on, and that's how the dog ended up in the room. I've seen that about 6 times in the chat just now. Shout out to Annie Ruler. And where's Annie Potts? Where's your twin? What's going on? Love relationships. I'm just saying. She could have put the dog in there herself. And by the grace of God, the dog survived. Because maybe they would have killed the dog if he wouldn't have been in that room. But something's wrong with that. Because if you're a killer, aren't you gonna open Kaylee's room door before you leave and go back downstairs? What if you're leaving a witness? Isn't a killer gonna open the door to Kaylee's room before they go back downstairs? Isn't that true? What you think about that? If the killer went upstairs, or killers went in Maddie's room, and we're assuming that Kaylee and Maddie, met their demise in that room there, and that nobody was moved. Okay, if he did that or they did that, what's the likelihood that they're gonna just go back downstairs without opening Kaylee's bedroom door, unless they just didn't care? That's who they came to hit, and that's what they did, and they left. I mean, is this logical? What I'm saying? Is this logical? What I'm saying? If you go in upstairs and you're on the 3rd floor of a house, you just took the life of 2 people, and there's 2 bedrooms up there. Are you gonna leave from up there without opening the other bedroom door? I got an even better question. Aren't you gonna open that other bedroom door before you start the murdering? What if somebody in the other room with a gun and they're gonna come stop you? Didn't the killers really have to open Kaylee's door at some point while they were up there? Didn't they have to open that door? Or no, they just came in, they hit, they didn't care about who was in Kaylee's room. They did what they had to do, and now they're going downstairs. Does that make sense? Can we say that? How could they not? How can I say this? How could the killers not have opened Kaylee's bedroom door when they went up there? They just went up there and did what they had to do in Maddie's room and came back downstairs, and they never opened Kaylee's room door? Is that possible? Is that possible? We're here, Maddie, making a video. Dog was to silence and stop. Okay, you said to make the dog be quiet. Is that what you're saying, Kelly Dean? I mean, this is important. The police are telling us somebody came there and did this crime in about 8 or 9 minutes. And out of all the things that we don't know that happened after the crime, we do know that the dog survived. We got 3 survivors. So it doesn't get it out of the house and foot traffic. Kelly Mack. Shout out to Kelly and Annie Ruler. Kelly M and Annie R. So it won't get out of the house. In that regard, they were expecting the back door to be open. People coming in and out, and they don't want the dog to get out. But we have to think about this is 2 o'clock in the morning, 2:15. The dog knew the perp. That's a very strong statement, Kelly. Let me give you a shout out. Did the dog know the perp? Yes or no? Y'all go to y'all in the chat, right? Yes or no? Did Murphy know the perp or perpetrators? Did the dog know the perp? Yes or no? And what's your proof? Did Murphy know the perps or not? Chat is delayed. Elwing W. Thank you for telling me that, Elwing. My connection, it says excellent connection now, but it was yellow a few minutes ago. So for some reason it's straightened itself out. Okay, shout out to Elwing. Elwing, did Murphy know the perp? Yes or no? I mean, the dog probably did not survive because the truth as we know it now is the opposite of what we have been told in the beginning. All right? Shout out to Nosy Cat. That's what I'm saying. We've been assuming a lot about Murphy. We've been assuming that the perpetrators put the dog away. That's not necessarily true. Kaylee could have put our own dog in there. And for what reason? And so where was she in the house? She wasn't in her room. The dog was locked up in there. So what was she in? Maddie's room, calling Jack, and then what? I think Zana and Ethan were attacked earlier. I think that's very possible, Agape. Shout out to Agape Love. I think that's very possible. We've been assuming that I mean, there's discrepancies about what time Maddie and Kaylee got home. I'm just saying, I believe Kaylee was on OnlyFans making money, putting pictures on there, getting money from these guys. One sis says they took Murphy out. What you mean, Deb? Shout out to Deb Tudoro. What do you mean? One sis says they took Murphy out. Who took Murphy out? Yeah, okay. I heard that too. That when Maddie and Kaylee got home, they took the dog out walking. So how did he end up in the room? The dog was a side snack. Perp knew the dog and had a heart for the dog. Kelly Dean. That explains why the dog survived. But who put him in the room? Shout out to Kelly Dean. Who put him in the room? All right. Was it the perps or was it Kelly? We can't just assume it was the perps. Huh? The dog. Okay, we got that from Nosy and Kelly. Okay, these are good ideas. We're getting somewhere with this. Because I wasn't even thinking about the romanticism, Kaylee could have put her own dog up. I wonder if either M or K were in PHs And why on Maddie's bed, 0 DNA on the sheet? 0 okay, none of Maddie's DNA on the sheet. All right, let's talk about the sheet. We haven't talked about that in a long time. And then we can still make our conversation about Murphy. But let me get the sheet. Because the dog and the sheet is certain things that we can deduce. Certain things we can deduce from the dog. We know that the dog survived. All right. And there's arguments as to whether Murphy was barking or not. They claim they have him barking on a ring.com, but I haven't heard it. And I don't know how we can prove that's Murphy barking. I mean, you can barely hear it. It could have been any dog. In the neighborhood, the frat house had a dog. We don't even know if that was Murphy. So what's going on? Who put that dog in the room? And had him sitting there waiting for somebody to come pick him up after 4 people been killed. The dog sitting there, wait for somebody to pick him up. That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. All right, I found my sheet. Boy, I tell you, I'm just trying to deal with this technology, but something needs to give. All right, there's my sheet. Let's add that to the clue pot. All right, here's the sheet. And somebody brought up a very good point that there was none of Maddie's DNA on the sheet. How is that possible? I'm just saying, some of this stuff they're telling us, yeah, I knew what you meant, Annie. I knew you meant PJs, pajamas. Okay, I could hear 2 distinct dogs barking, but don't know where from. Joaquin. All right. Shout out to Alaska tonight. All right. Shout out to Alaska. Now listen. We don't know what dog is who on a ringtone, so they should not talk to us like we're ignorant. To tell us that they got this dog barking on a ring. You don't know who dog that was. You don't even know for sure if it was a dog. I think they're too drunk to do anything else. At least Maddie was. Wow. Still some say Kaylee was too. But I don't see where Kaylee was really too messed up. But alcohol did play a role in this. You lock your dog in the room. You be drinking. What is that? What? If that's genuine leather, no way he owned that, in my opinion. I'm going to give Kelly Mack a brain. That's powerful. That's powerful. That is powerful. Did we ever think about that? Would a vegetarian have a leather knife sheath? Honestly. Would a vegetarian own a leather knife sheath? Would a vegetarian own a knife sheath, a leather knife sheath? What is that, cowhide? Somebody like Brian Would he own a knife sheath? I think Kaylee went to check on Maddie, was attacked head on, explaining her injuries, too much bone from the back. All right, that's a good one. Joaquinian. Shout out to Joaquinian. But I am seriously, what that I mean, it just debunks a lot of what is in the PCA. Because when you think about it, that man would not be having a leather sheath made out of cowhide if he's a vegan. I mean, that's an excellent point. I always thought that too, Robin. But reading all of these materials, I'm really leaning towards saying, I don't know who was killed first. And I don't know where they were killed in the house. I know where they ended up, but I can't even say for sure who was killed first, where they ended up. Depends on his reason for being vegan. I knew a vegan who didn't like any animals. She was just vegan for health reasons. All right? Shout out to Nosy Cat. That's a good point. I just don't see Brian Kohberger with a leather pouch or a leather whatever. I just feel like either they lying or telling the truth in the PCA. And there's too many lies in there for them to be telling the truth. So all of it must be garbage, if you ask me. I believe Dylan probably got locked up when she first was questioned. She probably was down there to the police station. Come on down here with us to the station so we can ask you some questions. You know how they do. And then you might go home from that and you might not. Come on down here to the station. We got a few questions for you. Can you come down to the station? Like, they can't ask you the questions standing right there on your porch. Why you got to come down to the station? Why? Because you might not leave. That's why. And they can go on and take your fingerprints. Come on down to the station. Well, yes, I think it was more about health issues and weight management. Yeah, why you say that, Just Angel? Because his mother said she didn't want him cooking the meat in the pot. His mother said Brian didn't want her cooking his food in the pot with some meat. Huh? What do you say about that one? All right, I want to give a shout out to all the members, all the Hard Truth members, anybody with a KJV logo. Thank you to all of the members, and then thank you to all of the members with the yellow badge in the second go round, and those with the red logo in month number 3. Isn't that awesome? Thank you to everybody that joined the channel. And those of you who haven't joined yet, please think about becoming a member and joining us in our Wednesday members only lives. And then you also get a newsletter and whatnot. All right, I just thought I'd throw that in there because I see a lot of members in here. And so here's some love to everyone who has already joined the channel. And here's some love for those of you that are inching towards joining the channel in the future. Do you like my cat? Ooh. The dog probably did not. I think I did that one already. To keep Murphy calm, yeah. Especially if there's a lot going on. I think this was the long, torturous event that went on from 1 to 7 a.m. NASDAQ, baby. Shout out to NASDAQ. All right, enough about the dog. This is what I'm saying about Kaylee. I'm thinking the Land Rover, the trip to Europe. I mean, college students don't usually have money, right? College students don't usually have money. Oh, we got a super chat for Robin, Love Your Heart, Truth, and everyone. All right. So she's sending love to everybody here. Thank you, Robin. All right. We're up 5 on the super chat from Robin Latham. Good deal. Good deal. Miss Mick Winborn. The killer didn't open the bedroom doors of the 2 surviving roommates. I mean, this is exactly what I'm saying. Okay, let me send some hearts up for Robin Latham quickly. All right, much love to you, Robin, for the super chat sticker. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now, Miss Mick Winborn, I need to give you, let's see, I'll give you a brain for that. I'll give you a brain for that because this is important. I know it's boring to talk about dogs and doors closed and stuff, but that's very important because these are clues that are factual. We know for a fact that the dog was locked in the room because he's on the body cam of Nunez. Nunez opened the door to the bedroom and the dog was in there, and from my understanding, it's all on body cam. So, I mean, we have to look at that and say, well, this is something we know for sure happened. And let's figure out why. Because it's no use in chasing down these rabbit holes when we don't even know what we're chasing is factual. We know that dog was left in that room. So that's something we can get as much information out of and come to as many conclusions as we can because we can depend on it as something that actually happened. And so why didn't the killer open Kaylee's room door where the dog was? I mean, that's a big clue. That means that through all that stuff that happened that night in the house, nobody ever went in Kaylee's room. Nobody ever went in Dylan's room. Nobody ever went in Bethany's room. Is that where we are? Dogs bark at police. You know, that's a pretty good one too. Shout out to Terry Butler. That's a good one too. Because, I mean, that's a reason to lock your dog away. So they won't bite the police. People say, oh, my dog doesn't bite. All dogs bite. All dogs have teeth, most of them. I think when they get old, they start falling out. But all dogs have teeth and all dogs bite. Your dog might not bite you, but dogs do bite. It's in their nature to bite people, to bite something. So I don't want to entertain that you know a dog maybe won't bite you. But this is an excellent point, Miss Winborn. Why all these doors shut? We know he passed by Dylan's bedroom how many times? 4 times. They passed by one time getting up the stairs to Matt and Kaylee. They passed by Dylan's room again to come down and go over to Ethan and Xander's room. They passed by the room again coming out of Ethan and Xander's room to leave out of the door. That's 3 right there. And whose footprint is that in front of Dylan's bedroom door? Because the FBI found that, not MPD. Whose footprint is in front of Dylan's door? Whose footprint is it? And since it's only that one footprint, what does that mean? They cleaned it up? Could it be Hunter Johnson footprint? Could it be Hunter Johnson's footprint? He came in there to check and called 911. Maybe he stepped in something. Is the footprint in front of Dylan's room Hunter Johnson's footprint? What do you think about that one? Huh? Could that have been Hunter Johnson's footprint, latent footprint? He stepped in the blood over there in the house along with everybody else. Spruce and Gussie. Shout out to Spruce and Gussie. Good to see you. All right. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm going to send everybody some love right quick. Now, I want to know if there were voicemails on JD's phone. Woo! Let me give you a brain for that one. Agape. Because if there's not, what does that tell you? That it wasn't even Kaylee and Maddie calling Jack D. That's a good one. That's a hot one. Y'all hot tonight. Woo, y'all coming up with some good stuff. If there's no voicemails on JD's phone, that means that Kaylee and Maddie were not the ones calling him. That's what that means. Right? Wasn't it first reported that he found, hold on, Spruce and Gussie, wasn't it first reported that he was found out on the street when 911 was called? Wasn't that the initial report, and then it became he was in Kaylee's room? Shout out to Spruce and Gussie again. You know, I've been hearing about that dog. I've been hearing that when I heard from somebody, I read in two different places where somebody said when Maddie and Kaylee came home, they took Murphy out to walk him to use the bathroom. I've heard this from people. You know? I put the dog away for good sleep, but barking sucks. Yeah, you're right. Shout out to Kelly and Spruce and Gussie. They said they walked the dog, and you know, maybe Kaylee was calling Jack D about the dog. You know, just a wild card there. That maybe they were calling maybe they were calling Jack D about the dog. I don't know. That's just something weird I came up with. But should we have a record on WSU or Moscow police logs about a dog? If somebody called about Murphy, shouldn't it be in the police call logs? I'm getting ready to look. I'm getting ready to look and see if there's anything about a dog on the call logs for the Moscow police for that day. Okay, the 13th, November 13th. Matter of fact, I'm going to start with the 12th and see if I see anything about a dog. Because maybe Murphy was used to lure. You know, maybe they used Murphy to get in the house. We can't leave any stone unturned. Maybe she came home and couldn't find the dog and started calling Jack, 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 Jack. Maybe Kaylee came home and couldn't find Murphy. But how did he end up back in the room though? Okay, here's the call log. I'm gonna see if I can open up a browser right quick where y'all can see it. Here's the call log. See if I got a browser button. I'll just make a new one. Yeah, you should be able to see it with me. All right, browser. A new one. All right, give me 1 second, and you should be able to see it too. I think. Well, that's taking a minute. Let me scroll through here right quick. Okay, I am on November the 12th, Moscow Police Department daily activity log. And I'm looking for any report about a dog. Because that could have been away in the house, you know. That could have been away in the house. Noise, attempt to locate. Daughter not returning calls. A male was arrested on a warrant at 156 on Main Street at the hospital. Feeling suicidal. Somebody was feeling suicidal at 2:44. Let me try to get this where y'all can see it. It'll come up in a minute. It'll come up in a minute. Alcohol or drug DUI at 8:15. A female hit another car and was trying to flee. Traffic violation. Narcotics canine search at 10:13. Non-injury traffic, domestic accident, hit and run. Stray animals. Black lab puppy with orange collar. No, that's not Murphy. Too skittish for respondent to get a hold of. Traffic, communication. Complaint of open line 911 call. At 14:19, there was a complaint of an open line 911 call. What does that mean? And let me hit interact. What does that mean? It should come up on your screen in just a minute. I'm going to scroll down to it in the browser. What does that mean? Open line 911 call. Non-injury, accident, hit and run, parking problem, safety hazard, theft, harassment, civic cause, animal problem. On Meadow Street, a dog that's been outside barking in the cold all day. I mean, that could have been Murphy. He could have made his way to Meadow Street. How long does it take? How far is Meadow Street from King Road? I did find a dog that been outside barking in the cold all day. That could have been Murphy. You can see it on your screen by now. This happened at 1823, which is what, 6:23 in the evening. And so if nobody was home at King Road at 6:23, they wouldn't have known. They said the dog was out there all day barking though. Officer advised no report. That could have been Murphy now. I'm just saying. We're looking for an animal report and there's one on here. That's ridiculous. It means the 911 call came in and hung up. Okay, thank you, Kelly. Shout out to Kelly. Kelly Dean. They called. Oh, okay, let's see what time that happened. Let's see what time that happened. All right, shout out to Kelly. Okay, that happened at the hang up call happened at the dog barking all day. That happened at 1823, which is 6:23. And then let me use this other computer because I'm telling you, I want to see this. That's something. That is something. We sitting here talking about Murphy, looking to see if there's a dog complaint, and there is. Okay, I need to. Moscow Police. Daily log. November the 12th. There was a dog, but they didn't make a report. We don't know whose dog it was. Murphy could have been on Meadow Street. I'm going to see how far Meadow Street is from King Road. Because this says animal complaint, stray animal. It was a lab puppy. We know that's not him. Civil call. Request to speak with officer about parking assignment. No, that's not it. A dog was outside barking all day in the cold on Meadow Street. I'm going to see how far one is, how far Meadow Street is from King Road right quick. I'm going to read some more comments. Just give me 1 second. I want to know how far it is to see if this dog was outside. It's Meadow Street. Okay. I got to put in 800 Meadow. Okay, here we go. Listen, Meadow Street is only 2 miles away from King Road. And that's in a car. If you look in the map, it's probably could be a little less than that. So can the dog have wandered over there? It's over there by Steiner Avenue. So it's 2 miles. It was a dog out in the cold barking all day, 2 miles from the house. Is that too far for the dog to have been, somewhere trying to get home? To where these girls were drinking, and when they got home, the dog wasn't there, and they were calling Jack to let him know Murphy was missing or gone. And then somehow the next day somebody recovered the dog. That's scary. I'm gonna have to make a video on this. Wow, 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 wow. Wasn't it first reported? Yep, he was found out on the street when 911 was called. Wasn't at the initial report, and then it became he was in Kaylee's room. Now on the daily log online, it says no report was taken, spruced and Gussie, but it does say that a dog was outside barking in the cold all day, or at least for a long time. On November the 12th. What are the odds? What are the odds? And then the place where the dog was is only 2 miles away from the house. That's strange. They didn't have to go upstairs. I do not think girls were in the bedroom. Steve G said they didn't have to go upstairs. I do not think the girls were in the bedroom. Okay, that's Nosy Cat. Shout out to Nosy Cat. Yeah, he was saying, hey, if Ethan and Xana were the target, the killer didn't have any reason to go upstairs. He came in on the second level, and Xana and Ethan were already on the second level. And so for the killers to go upstairs, Maddie and Kaylee had to be targets. I think that's what he was saying, and I agree with him. That's another reason that I think Kaylee was a target. And you know, Kaylee and Maddie were like a sock and a glove. And so if one was the target, so was the other one. That's the way I see it. All right? I like to know that too. We all believe Olivia and when they got home. Well, I'm not sure. I know it wasn't 156. We know 156 is not true. All right? I wonder if either M or K were in their pajamas. And why on Maddie's bed and Maddie didn't have any DNA on the sheet. Okay, let's go back to the sheet. Because I'm going to tell you, I think the police were so busy trying to set something up and set somebody up, they didn't think some things through. And that knife sheath is one of them. Because it should be more DNA on it than just the sheath. Maddie's DNA should be on it. Kaylee's DNA should be on it. The dog's saliva DNA should be on it. Everybody's DNA should be on it. I just don't understand how they thought they were going to just leave it there in the bed with one speck of touch DNA on it and then want to frame somebody with that. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. And Kaylee's mother originally said Kaylee called her around midnight, but that interview was scrubbed. I thought that was Xana. I thought it was Xana calling her dad at midnight. Agape love. It's Kaylee or Xana. Shout out to Agape. I thought it was Xana who talked to her father at midnight and told him she was eating pizza. Did anybody hear that one? Anybody hear that Xana was eating pizza at midnight? She talked to her father on the phone, and he said she was eating pizza at midnight. That's what I heard. That's what I heard now. Right on, Rachel Marin, look it up, learn dog is a pain. The dog knew the perk. You know, that's everybody saying the dog knew the perk. Everybody's saying that. I mean, everybody's saying that. Everybody's saying the dog knew the perk. Why, Kenyon, you believe Kaylee left Murphy in her room? Okay, why? Why? I think dumping Kaylee's body on top of Maddie was a message. Like they were trash to be taken out, in my opinion. I'm going to give you a brain for that, Robin. Total disregard for life. Then a total disregard for females, because the majority of the victims were male. and everybody that lived in that house was a female. So we know we got female issues. Just disrespect, and then for them, for Kaylee to be laying on top of Maddie in that little bitty bed, some of the stuff they're trying to say with that is really disrespectful or unsavory, to say the least. I don't want to go in too much further, publicly in this chat, but for them to have her laying on top of Maddie in that bed, that was very distasteful. But if you ask me, that was the point of it. To come in and just slaughter people, to show you have no regard for human life, or at least not for theirs, and then just leave and leave somebody to come and be shocked and clean it up. That's the feeling I got, Robin. The shock value was very important part of this. They wanted somebody to say they killed 4 people, and who was in the room, and was this a turn on to come into this high risk situation where somebody could have jumped on your back and put you out of your misery? Later on the 13th, they had to get the dog from the pound. They did. Annie Ruler, you are hot tonight, Annie. They had to get the dog from the pound. How did he go from being locked in the room to the pound? They telling us they took the dog out of the room and sent him to the pound. Come on now. Jack D lived right around the corner, didn't he? He could have just came and got the dog. They were calling him 3 o'clock in the morning. Why couldn't Jack just come get the dog from the house? Just BK DNA on the sheet, right? Come on. They said 3 other DNA, 2 in the space and 1 outside on the glove. All male. And the dog is locked up in the bedroom. Now you tell me. Shirley Laguerre. Am I pronouncing that right? Nothing in this case follows any logic. Shout out to Shirley. Thank you for attending the live tonight, and welcome. Shout out to Shirley and Kelly Dean. You hot tonight too, Kelly. You and Annie Ruler. Y'all got some hot ideas. All right, where are we? Maddie was gone already, and Kaylee went into her room and got attacked from the back is another theory. It would explain her liver and kidneys being wrecked, according to Steve G. Okay, shout out to Agape. What y'all think about that? Kaylee's insides being missing, or some degree of mutilation. What you think about that? I mean, that's crazy. It wasn't enough. I mean, did they come in for that? What on earth did it turn into? What, organ harvesting? It's just starting to give me a headache to try to figure out the motive, because only 2 things make sense. Either they had a reason for all of these deaths, like organ harvesting or snuff film or something nefarious, something we didn't have any business partaking in unless you just an animal yourself mentally. I mean, it's either that or somebody in that group, offended, pissed somebody off. Usually that's why people die. Disrespect. Usually that's the reason why people get attacked. You disrespected somebody or something. And so somebody in that group pissed somebody off. And I'm not sure who or why, but it's just this guy here, Brian Kohberger, doesn't fit the bill. He doesn't fit the bill of a quadruple murderer. And they say, well, what does a murderer look like? It could be anybody, right? But if he did it, Tell us he did it in enough time to where he could go in there and look around, sneak in there while everybody's asleep, or something to where it could have really been done. Don't tell us that this guy that probably barely learned how to tie his shoes went in there and killed 4 people. You know, somebody that goofy that probably was, the last one to learn how to tie his shoes. And you telling us he went in somebody's house and killed 4 people. You're going to have to do better than that. Because just looking at him from a distance, you can tell his nerves can't take too much. His nerves can't take too much. And if he was undercover, he wouldn't have reacted to that policeman in WSU like that. He wouldn't have been on there telling her he almost got he gonna back up in the crosswalk. If he was undercover, he wouldn't have been talking to that lady, that female policeman in Pullman like he was. He wasn't talking like nobody undercover to me. He sounded like somebody just trying to get out of a ticket. He didn't have any big names to throw around, or he didn't throw it in there that he was working at the university or nothing. He was just trying to get out of it. He barely knows how to drive. Brian Kohberger got psychosocial issues. I'm just saying, they say on the spectrum. I don't know what it is. It might be OCD. He got one of them. He barely can drive without getting pulled over. And he's probably overcompensating. On this hand, he's got a very intelligent mind, but just everyday common sense things is a struggle because you got all your beans over here in this basket. Does that make sense? You can tell on the traffic stop, and then he always gets stopped. He got stopped in Indiana. I don't know if he got stopped in Colorado. I think he just went through a toll station and they got a picture of his tag. But this guy barely can drive a car without getting pulled over. He probably was getting lost on the campus the first week. He looks like a Forrest Gump type person sometimes to me. I just don't see how we supposed to believe he had enough game, enough sense, enough courage, and enough skill, because it took all that to go in somebody's house and kill 4 people's children. I just can't see it. I just can't see it. That's not to say he didn't do it. I'm saying I can't see him doing it. That's a lot of work. With one knife? And then leave a leather sheath, and you're a vegetarian like they saying like everybody's saying in the chat. One knife, and then he left a sheath, and he's supposed to be this strict vegetarian. He's coming to another city to buy us food. His mother already told us he's serious about that. So why on earth could we believe that not only did he have the skill, the time, the motive, and the gumption to go and do something like this, but he's a vegetarian and he broke that and left a knife sheath. He went and bought a leather knife sheath on Amazon, but he don't believe in killing and eating animals. I mean, make it make sense. We need stuff to match up if you're going to convict this guy, and it's not matching up. Now let's see what we got here. Yes, Andy, the cops called animal control because JD hadn't got there yet, or they took him to the cop shop already. He was already at the pound, Robin. Shout out to Robin Latham. Murphy was already at the pound. Jack was calling around to see where the dog was, and they told him he was when he called the animal shelter. They told him that Murphy was there, and he went and got him. That's Jack D had to get the dog from the pound. When he started calling around, he started calling around late, like 4 o'clock. I had the article. I'm gonna have to dig it back out. he started calling around. He didn't start calling around for the dog until late. He couldn't admit that he knew the dog was distressed before the police came. He couldn't look for Murphy too early, because then they would be like, hey, how you know the dog ain't got no owner no more? Jack didn't start looking for the dog until about 4 o'clock. Now, what kind of foolishness is that? Instead of just coming to the house and getting the dog. That's my question. Maddie was gone already, and Kaylee went into her room and got a text from the back. Okay, that's a copy. We read that one. And the cops called animal control. Yep. Had no evidence on the dog. Shout out to Shirley again. Because the dog didn't have any blood, flesh, DNA, nothing worth mentioning. And they got the dog on body cam in the room. It's almost like they had to have that. Why? Why? Why was it important for this dog to be on body cam when they came in the house looking at the crime scene? Officer Nunez said it says the dog being in the room is on Nunez's body cam. So if another dog besides Murphy was barking and Dylan heard everything, that's BS. Shout out to Robin. Right. If we can pick up dog barking from people around the neighborhood's ring cam, then Bethany and Dylan heard it. And then if two of your friends is in a bad way, aren't you going to look for the other two to help you? If you got two roommates that's deceased or almost deceased, dying right there in front of your two eyes, aren't you going to look for the other two roommates to help you with the problem? That's just common sense. I think Kaylee went to check on Maddie, was attacked head on, explaining her injuries. Okay, we did that one. Depends on his reason for being vegan. I knew a vegan. Okay, we did that one. Would a knife that size cause gaping wounds, as Steve Gonsalves said originally? Shout out to Kelly Mack. Well, I wish we could see some pictures from the autopsy or the crime scene. I wish we could see some pictures so we can have an idea. The only thing we got is that blood coming out of Xander's room. We know it was ugly. However it was, it wasn't pretty. But we can get an idea of how far-fetched this 1 K-bar knife is as a murder weapon just by looking at the crime scene photos. But they won't show us. Okay, Just Angel and who else? Nosy Cat. Nosy Cat and Just Angel. I'm going to give you a shout out. But when somebody tells you, don't cook my food in a pot you cook meat in, it's about more than health issues and weight management. For him to tell his mother not to cook his food in a pot where she cooked meat, that's more than health issue and weight management. He didn't want his food associated with something with blood in it. Okay? Because health issues, that just means he wouldn't eat certain things. And he probably would eat some meat or fish or whatever. I don't know. But not to want his mother to use the same pot, that I think it runs a little deeper. But I'm going to give you all a shout out, Nosy and Just Angel. No, it runs deeper than that. All right? There's your shout out, and I'm going to send some love for everybody. All right. Let's see. NASDAQ. The Gonsalves family had a lot to say. The Gonsalves family had too much to say. Shout out to NASDAQ. I mean, it just got to the point where I just felt like they need to stop talking. And I know a lot of people that felt the same way. It just felt like they need to stop talking. Who was that? Let's see. This one is different. I believe Maddie was the only one that didn't see it coming. Okay, what about Ethan? It was said Ethan got it bad. I heard they cut Ethan's throat. BK had a conscience on his veganism. Kelly Dean. Emotional revenge killing. Who did that? Why did police lie about the girls being asleep in the beginning? Excellent question. Shout out to Susan. I owe somebody else a shout out too. Who is it? I owe somebody else. Who did I just say? Susan and Ethan, I heard, was the worst. Woman make revenge killing. Oh, you said Ethan had a somebody he rejected, huh? I believe Maddie was the only one that didn't see it coming. Okay, it was Robin and I just gave that one. I read early on here these YouTube streets that Ethan's tendons on his calves were cut so he couldn't run or move. Wow. Let me give some of these shout outs. Robin and Spruce. Wow. I heard his throat was cut. I heard that early on. And I haven't heard anybody dispute it. But at the same time, I don't know. I that's bad. That's bad. I don't want to talk about it. That just makes me feel bad, really bad. Be honest, that's not good. I However they got him, that just hurt my feelings right there. So we got let me look and see about this call out right quick and make sure we got everything. We had a dog outside barking all day. I don't think Katie will leave her dog, but maybe they let him out. Maybe they let Murphy out while Kaylee and Maddie were gone. Maybe they let the dog out and told him go about his business because she ain't gonna be here after about another hour. She's not gonna be your mama no more. So maybe they let the dog out. I'm stuck on that. Maybe they did. Hey, maybe that was Murphy. Maybe they did let that dog out and let him go on his way. And you know Murphy would raise hell like that if he was outside. You know, all dogs that's lost wandering around the neighborhood don't bark. But I know Murphy would have had a fit if he was somewhere without his food and being able to sit in somebody's lap all day or whatever. I know he would have raised hell. Maybe that was him out there barking. We don't have a report. That is literally straight out of a horror movie in the movie hosted, they did that to one of the victims, the tendon cutting. What's the name of the movie, Spruce? Because they said the Clone movie came out the day before the murders. Anybody heard about the Clone movie? Kill the Clones. Poor dog. Just so unacceptable. God forgive me, but I don't feel sorry for either one of them. Who are you talking about, Robin? You don't feel sorry for who? Which ones you talking about, Robin? Poor dog. You know that might have been Murphy. I'm up. Hey, we need to dig into that. We don't have a police report, but they said no report taken. This was Meadow Street over there by Steiner Avenue. That dog could have got over there quick. You know, that's not that far, 2 miles. That dog could have got over there real quick. That's what I said, Kelly. Let me give you a shout out. That's what I said. That dog would have had a fit if he was somewhere and he didn't know where his way back to the house, and he didn't have no food or nothing. He didn't know where's neither one of his parents, Kaylee or Jack, were. He wouldn't have took that laying down. He would have been barking his head off. And they said it was cold out there. Come on. I mean, this crazy. It could have been Murphy. It could have been. It could have been Murphy. Which means they let the dog out of the house before Maddie and Kaylee even came home from the grub truck. What happened to the house being a possible target? Shout out to Susan. Hi, Susan Gardner. What happened to... And especially if everybody drinking. And then when Kaylee came home, she was calling Jack. She had just seen Jack. So that was a good reason to call Jack, is just the dog wasn't there. And Jack wasn't answering, so then, you know, but that would mean that everybody was still, that Maddie and Kaylee was still alive at 3 a.m. or 2:52. They were 2:53. They might have came home and the dog wasn't there, and then she started calling Jack. Who left the dog? Who would have let the dog out? Who let the dog out? Dylan or Bethany? They didn't know the dog wasn't in the house. They didn't call Kaylee and say, hey, you know, Kaylee was on her phone a lot on the grub truck. Maybe they were texting her to tell her the dog was gone. Maybe it was Bethany and Dylan saying, hey, you better come home. The dog is gone. Because Kaylee was on her phone the whole time she was at the grub truck. Maybe they were telling her, hey, you need to come to the house. The dog is not here. And when she got there, she started calling Jack. She looked for him first. Maybe she looked for him first. And when she couldn't find him, finally she called. Maybe she wasn't even in the house when she was calling Jack at 2:52. Maybe she was out looking for the dog. What's going on? Do we know what day Jack got Murphy back? Because according to the Gonsalves, Jack was in police custody for many hours in questioning, and that's why he didn't call them with the news. What you mean he didn't call them with the news? Because I read that Jack called and got the dog around 4 something that day. That's what I read. And I'm going to have to go back and find the article. Or maybe it's some more information out now. But I read that Jack D got the dog around 4:30 from the pound. He was calling around to see who had the dog. And when he found the pound that had the dog, you know what? Maybe there's some record of when maybe the pound has record of when they actually got Murphy. Maybe they have some kind of record. or when they got what? Maybe we can call and find out when they exactly did they get Murphy. They might have had Murphy before 12 o'clock or 11 o'clock or whatever. Or the dog left the scene at 12 o'clock. They sent the dog to the pound at 12 o'clock, 11:58. They don't really say. All they say is the dog was in the room with the door shut when the responding officers got there. That's what the PCA says. Maybe the dog, Dylan, and do you notice the similarities? The dog didn't have any evidence of the crime on him. And Dim and Bethany are alive and well. It's like the same situation. Why? Why this dog is still alive and why is he in this room with the door shut? It's so wrong. That's right, Kelly. Who let the dogs out? The song. That came to my head too. Well, Kelly Mack, well, can we say that? And had Ellie seen the reported barking dog, they would have recognized it from all previous visits and would have known who to bring it to. A reason to go there if one had a crush on the girls. That's a good point. But it's a lot of police on that station. And different ones will come into the house. It's not necessarily that they would have recognized or even remembered Murphy. If they, go on a lot of different calls and stuff, maybe they would have recognized him, maybe they wouldn't. Shout out to Kelly Mack. Maybe they would have recognized him. Maybe not. Let me see. I'll tell you this. I am always... Hold on, y'all. I got this chat moving. Kelly Dean might be that innocent. On roof. Sorry. Agape love, after all this, my circle is so small, it's a... Okay. The news of what happened to Kaylee, I just missed it. It just popped away. Agape love. I'll tell you this, I am always aware of my surroundings. Since this case, I am on high alert. I sleep with one eye open and I don't sleep much. Shout out to Agape love. It's a scary thought that you can't even lay down and go to sleep or come home from a few drinks and chill without somebody coming there doing some garbage like this. I agree. I agree 100%. It's just disgusting, really. The news of what happened to Kaylee, he didn't tell them. Who didn't tell them? The news, he didn't tell them. Spruce, I'm not sure what you mean. Ain't JD so convenient? Yeah, he lives right around the corner, right? Dog is the key. Kelly D, shout out to Kelly. I keep going back to the dog. I wish you'll get this. That's very important. What happened to this dog? How did he end up in that room? Was that him barking on Meadow Street or whatever? Were they calling Jack to tell them they couldn't find the dog at 252? What are we overlooking here with the dog? Because he definitely would have been raising Cain out there in the cold. And then he was out there all day. They're saying he was out there for a long time. All right. Okay, I'll take that. But I just feel like it's something about that. Ain't JD in Africa now, in a place that doesn't extradite? Well, I heard he was in South Africa, and then they had pictures on the thing, but I think those were old pictures of him in South Africa, in Cape Town, or where was it, Madagascar? I don't know, somewhere. But Some people said he was fleeing to Africa. Some people say he's still here in the States. So I don't know who to believe. And they claim the one that says he's still in the States hiding out somewhere. Uh Supposed to be a friend of his. How can he be a friend and he's telling everybody where he is? I'm just saying none of it makes sense. I don't know where Jack D is. I don't know if he's in Africa or the United States. All I know is he got up out of Moscow. How about that? He got up out of Moscow, didn't he? You can't blame him. They say he went up to his parents' cabin or something. This is Jack Showalter, not Decor. Kelly Dean. It's Jack Showalter in Africa. Supposedly, not Jack Decor. Exactly. And JD was acting so weird and emotional at the memorial, Kelly. All right? That's Robin. Yes, we need to investigate more what happened to Murphy for real. I agree. If I didn't get anything else out of this live tonight, it's that we tiptoed through the tulips on Murphy because it's more to that and it's more answers available if we can just get our foot in on what exactly is happened to this dog. All right. Why not release description of the subject? Why not release? Unsure if true, but supposedly JD was supposed to talk, had speech, but saw time to go. Well, maybe they didn't want him to speak. He sure gave him a dirty look. He sure gave Jack D a dirty look. Mr. G did. I call him Mr. G. I'm not going to call that man Steve. I'm going to show him some respect. He lost his daughter, and he's been trying to get him to tell us the truth. Miss Sloto, shout out to Miss Sloto. I can't type anymore. You still got some typing left in you. Come on and push it out. We 11:26. We still got a few more minutes to go. You got to type a little bit more. Now listen. JD was supposed to talk. Oh, they didn't want him making no speech. They really probably didn't want him up there. Terry Butler. It was sorority jealousy. Shout out to Terry B. I don't know what happened with this dog, but that's freaking me out. That there was a dog out there barking all day in the cold. They didn't take a report. How convenient. And then they telling us when Nunez came into the crime scene, he opened Kaylee's bedroom door and the dog was in there. This is what's in the PCA. Honestly, Mr. G was like, "Oh please," when JD put his arms around Mrs. G. Yeah, if looks could kill. Shout out to Robin. If looks could kill, that would have been it for Jack. Correct, I've seen high school pics of them at the same gatherings. Agape. Mr. G knows a lot. He does, but he sure don't mind telling it. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Really, some of this stuff they're telling us in this PCA. I've seen, let's see. I think there was a lot of envy going on. Shout out to Agape Love. It's true. There was a lot of it. And I'm going to tell you who I get the most vibes jealousy vibes from out of this whole group, and that's Dylan Mortensen. Let me put her in the chat. When we talk about jealousy, that's who comes to mind. And I believe that if Kaylee was a target and Dylan is the one that was trying to get her to come back, then Dylan had to know about the crime. Huh? That means it's impossible for Dylan not to know about the crime. What? Mr. G Biker, room. Is Mr. G a biker? I know he's got this hex thing going. Nobody like that. Mr. G gonna sue everyone when they let Brian go over that DNA fiasco. Shout out to Blah. I didn't see you in here either, Blah. You must have snuck in here in the past few minutes. Shout out to Blah, BLA. Okay, let me send some love. All right, for the latecomers. HT, don't underestimate that Bethany. I see something there. That girl is a tough cookie. Oh, yeah, what do you see? Shout out to Agape Love. What you see in Bethany? I see it all over Dylan. And you're right, because they went together to get the tattoo. They went together and got the tattoo. And then after they arrest Brian, that's when I realized just how many pictures Bethany and Dylan took together without the rest of the group. Because at first, I thought that maybe they weren't all that close and that everybody was, in or out or whatever. But they were close enough. They were close enough. Yeah. They were close enough. Yeah. I just want to know, if was this the dog? If Murphy was out barking and Kaylee was calling at 2:52 to tell Jack that she couldn't find the dog, we got a whole new theory here. I'm excited. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that. No bloody footprints in the house or going out the door. No bodies being loaded in the coroner's van. Shout out to Patty Girl. It sounds like somebody in the UK, Australia, or Jamaica. Where you at, Patty? All right. Shout out to Patty Girl. Welcome. Now let's see. Dim went to that Jeep just in time, like she knew it was coming. BLA. Shout out to BLA. I'm telling you, this is where remember that commercial, Where's the Beef? From Wendy's. Dog equal God. Wow, that's a deep one, Kelly. I'm going to give you a brain for that. That's deep thinking right there. Maybe that's why they didn't kill him. Maybe. Shout out to Susie Smith. Hey, Susie. Okay. Good to see you. It's something up with the dog. And if I can prove that they lied to us about that dog in that room, it's going to be on and popping. They better not. I'm going to check it out tomorrow. I better not find out that dog wasn't in that room, or that he was somewhere in the city wandering around. If I find just a fraction of a contradiction about Murphy, it's going to be on and popping. I'm telling you. Oh, hey, blah. BLA, I'm sending you some love back. Look here. Can you see that? All right. That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you. Miss Soto, Murphy was let out the house by somebody. A woman found him in the neighborhood and probably saw how well cared for he was. Decided to take him to the shelter. Jack D found him, but not sure when. Shout out to Miss Soto. I'm telling y'all that he got him at about 4 o'clock, 4:30 that day. He was calling around to the shelters. Let me see if I can find an article right quick. We got a lot of different opinions about it, or not really different opinions, but people wondering about when did Jack get the dog. Let me see if I can find something. Because we got a lot of people saying, well, we don't know what time he got him. I don't know. Maybe this article might have it. Maybe this one here. All right, this article says, after the brutal murders of Idaho 4 on November 13th, police discovered Kaylee's dog Murphy closed inside her third floor bedroom. Murphy was unharmed. Since his mom's murder, Murphy has been living with Gonzalez's ex-boyfriend, Jack D. And now Decor has created an Instagram for 1-year-old Murphy where he can share his life and remember Kaylee with others. The account went live earlier this week and has already gathered more than 66,000 followers. Comments have been flooded with love and support for both Murphy and Decor. I'm trying to see if that's all. Gonzalez and ex-boyfriend Decor adopted Golden Doodle Murphy during their 5-year relationship. After Gonzalez and Jack's breakup, Murphy split time between his parents. And this mourning his mom. Through his new Instagram account, Murphy has already shared memories of Kaylee. The first post showing him watching the sunset over water with the touching caption, missing my mom every day but trying to live my best life. I got to admire her beauty in the sky this evening. And then there's the picture of him on the water, just looking like, what the heck am I doing here? Another post reveals one of Kaylee's favorite shots of Murphy, the darling dog, sharing, my mom loved this one. And he's looking super cute with, let me put the link to this in here. I'm gonna put the link to this article. You'll like this. Check this out. It's got the pictures and everything. This is the article about Murphy. Let me put that in there. Yeah, that's a great article. Okay, and then it says, the court was cleared of suspicion by police, but still faced harassment and false accusations until police arrested Brian Kohberger in late December. The accusations that he harmed Kaylee have left him heartbroken. Brooke Miller, Decor's aunt, told the New York Post he's not only lost the love of his life and what we all thought, and he probably thought as well, would be his future wife, get married and have kids and all that. Could an animal hair help the case? After the search of murder suspect Brian Kohberger's apartment, court documents revealed investigators collected 8 strands of hair from the suspect's residence. Among those, one was a possible animal hair. Investigators have not confirmed whether any of those hairs belonged to the victims or the animal hair belonged to Murphy. Kohberger is currently being held without bail. Well, they haven't confirmed that it's dog hair because it wasn't. It wasn't dog hair. Out of 8 strands, one of them could be a dog hair. That sounds like a bunch of foolishness to me. That sounds like a bunch of foolishness. Okay, what's going on here? Yeah, I thought it was sweet in the beginning about the Instagram, but not anymore. Why not, Robert? It's a little I'm not gonna say cringe, but I'm gonna say what's the word for it? I know what you're saying. What's the word? It's I don't know, it's just weird. I just say it's weird that he would put that dog out there and have everybody following, talking about his mom Kaylee every day. I I I like that article, but as far as following on social media, I'm not following that dog. I'll tell you, psycho people put their emotions on pets. Kelly, you won't give them a break. Shout out to Robin and Kelly. She won't give them a break. All right, well, that somebody was telling me that they found dog hair in the apartment. They just put that rumor out there that there was a possible animal hair for people who have already crucified Brian Kohberger to say, well, he had Murphy's hair in his apartment. They don't care that it said possible animal hair. And they don't care that it's only one strand in a whole apartment. They don't care about any of that. And the media, the law enforcement is banking on the media to cause these ripples. And it worked, to be honest. I still have people argue with me telling me it was animal hair in Brian Kohberger's apartment. There was nothing from that crime scene in his apartment. Nothing. Because if it was, he'll be trying to get a plea deal right about now. I mean, he already can't say exactly where he was. So if they had a dog hair at that apartment, you best to believe he would be looking for a plea deal, whether he's innocent or guilty, so he won't be going to death row, wondering how long they're going to feed him a tray before they call his name and shave his head. I'm just saying. Right? I'm just saying now. What we got here? Agape today on the short bubbly waters today. She had all 911 calls for 12 as well as many Sundays. Annie Ruler. Shout out to Annie. I have no idea what that means, but God bless. I think there's a psycho problem with the dog. I've experienced this. What you mean a psycho problem? I'm just saying, Kelly, what do you mean? Kaylee and Jack were done. I missed that. I know I get mad about this case. Sometimes I want to walk in the MPD and start going off. Me too, Robbie. Me too. Wonky. Shout out to Lily White. Okay, we know you overseas somewhere, Lily. Talking about wonky. Now listen, I want to know what you meant by that, Kelly. What hair was it? The hair from your hairbrush, probably. Probably wasn't even a hair. God only knows. But we were supposed to believe right then and there that it was Murphy's, whatever it was. Dog hair was up everyone's nose in that 2 block area, genius. Kelly, you are hilarious. I'm telling you, you've been going all night nonstop. I want to be like you when I grow up. Listen, autopsies have not been released. Are they gonna be released? Are we ever gonna get an autopsy? Didn't they say they don't have records? Didn't they say that? Why is it they don't have autopsy reports yet? That's a $1 million question. It's been what, 6, 7 months? 8 months. We're in the 8th month. It's going on 8 months. Where's the autopsy? And then the lady, what's her name? Miss Mabbott. She said she's not doing a toxicology. So we don't even know if they were drugged before they died. We don't know because let me tell you something. If they would have done an autopsy and found out that those kids had been drugged, Bethany and Dylan would be prime suspects, because that lets you know right there that if those victims were drugged, anybody could have killed them. It didn't take a big Navy SEAL. It could have been anybody with a knife. Somebody could have killed them with a butter knife if they were sitting there, incapacitated from drugs. Gestalt and Pepper. Hair of the dog was up in the noses. Shout out to Gestalt and Pepper. What is Gestalt? Huh? All right, guys, it's getting late. We got 15 minutes. Any big point that you got to make, go ahead and put it out there, because we're going to be in conclusion right around midnight. All right, so if you got any other points to make, now's a good time to jump in. I'm 57, my dear Miss Joy. Oh, do it, Kelly. Do it. They just haven't released the autopsy. That's a beautiful age. That's the I want to have fun age. That's you're supposed to be having fun right now. Well, you are having fun. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. All right, I'm proud of you. Where are we? Bill Thompson wants Kohberger to take a deal. That's all he knows how to do. And BK is saying, well, I can't say it here. All right. Shout out Kelly and Robin. Let me tell y'all something. That would be the death of Kohberger mentally, emotionally. I mean, suicide is an option. Because for him to admit that he did something like that, or even to compromise on a plea deal, that's just like admitting guilt. He'll be out of there. He would be lower than a grain of dirt out there in the yard. He'll be lower than that. If he even hints that he had something to do with those murders, he gonna be lower than that grass out there. All right? What do they call it when they dig up under the earth and get the water and the hydraulics and stuff going? Fracking. He'll be lower than what you get when you frack. If he sits there and gives any indication that he has something to do with this, any indication, anything other than not guilty and I ain't got no rap for you, prove I did it, anything other than that, and he gonna end up lower than what they send down to the center of the earth to frack and get oil and water and stuff. He'll be lower than that. You can't get any lower than the core of the earth. I mean, just think, after all of this we going through, listening to this evidence and lies and trying to give him a chance because we being lied to by the authorities. and then to come and turn around and you gonna take a plea deal? Man, I'll be hunting it myself. All these videos, man, let me tell you something. He'll be in this jail cell over there in Latah County, and my head will pop up. Remember on Bonanza, the little jail where they had a window and people used to pop up in the window? My head will pop up in the window at that Latah County jail. And I'll be like, listen, Brian Kohberger, what you mean you taking a plea? And I got about 100 and some videos that say you probably didn't do this. Now, hold on, man. Hold on a second. Whoever want to get at this, listen, all the victims' families and stuff, I might let them get to him before me. But I'll be at that little window outside the jail, the little short window with like 3 bars. I have my head stuck in there, trying to talk to him and threaten him. A plea deal? Did you say you're going to take a plea deal? Come on, man. What's going on here? Tell us the truth. Are you the devil? Are you Satan himself? Or what? I mean, when you say that, huh? Yeah, I would. Let me see. Showalter family well connected though. All right. Shout out to Agape Love. That's true. But just because his family is rich and it seemed like he fled doesn't make him guilty. Because be honest with you, if I heard of 4 people being murdered that I knew and I done been in their house before and stuff, it'll be time for me to go too. I'm just being honest. And not before I get a bottle of alcohol or some bleach and get my fingerprints off the TV remote. I'm just saying, if I had been up in 1122 with my legs kicked up, drinking a beer or a shot of liquor in a cup, touching the TV remote, I went in the refrigerator. I'd be like, oh God, Mama, I went in the refrigerator. Let me get the heck out of here. I would have been the first one out of Moscow. They would have had to move over on the highway. I would have been driving in the media and passing people to get out of there. So I can't fault Jack D or Jack Showalter for keeping their distance and not wanting anything to do with that after it happened, especially. And I can't blame Jack D for not wanting to go over there. And they all over town drinking and talking about stuff they did and shouldn't have done or all that right there. I wouldn't have wanted any parts of it either. Okay, we are talking about who knows who and who knows who and who's related to who. The DA Mortensen isn't Dylan's uncle. Oh, y'all already did that research, huh? The DA is not Dylan's uncle. Okay, they're from different cities or what? Who is this anyway? Oh, it's Agape. Okay, shout out to Agape Love again. Thank you. Who did Innocence Project? Yeah, I heard they're going to be a part of the defense. And you know, Innocence Project does not take every case. They get loads of people claiming they're innocent every month. And so, yeah, they will sort it out. They sure will. I mean, that's not good for prosecution. You dealing with Ann Taylor and the Innocence Project and this Leah Larkin lady. Hey, she on her P's and Q's too. So, I mean, prosecution, they're going to have to bring it. They're going to have to prove that man did this. They're going to have to prove it. I'm sorry. They're going to have to come clean because, be honest with you, Kohberger got a dream team almost. I'm not saying dream team like Johnny Cochran and Garagos, but I mean, he got a nice defense team. Leah Larkin, Innocence Project, and Ann Taylor. Come on now, that's pretty good. Kelly Mack, what bothers me is if this guy who knows law can be railroaded. Us regular citizens don't stand a chance. You right about that. Shout out to Kelly Mack. Look how they doing him, and he knows about crime. And they let you know it means nothing. I want to know about David Loach. I had a little bit of information about him, Agape. I might, if I don't have your email, okay. It was said Showalter did not go to Africa. Yeah, I heard that too. I heard a friend of his was going around telling people he was still here. What kind of friend is that? We're in the western frontier out here. I hear you. I see you, Kelly. I see you. Yeah, Ann Taylor has her doctorate. Yeah, Robin, they gonna have to prove that her client is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Shout out to Robin Latham. They're gonna have to prove it. They're gonna have to prove that. Now, Ann Taylor. David Loach has some nasty posts on social media. Okay, let me write that down, Terry. Shout out to Terry Butler. Oh, I'll be looking at that. I would like to see that. I don't know. I've been looking for those too. All right. I don't think we have any new members in here tonight, but we may get some people rewatching it. And so I want to put my email out. If you would like to have a newsletter as a member, you're entitled to it for free. And so if you're not on the mailing list for the newsletter, I'm going to put my email here again. Okay, it goes out once a week, either Monday or Tuesday. And I would like to make sure that anybody that would like to have it gets one. You have to be a member now. subtalk@gmail.com. All right, here's my email. If you're a member and you would like to get the newsletter, you're going to have to email me and give me an email so I have somewhere to send it. Right? Okay, and let's see who that one person is. I want to call them out in here. All right, it's Tracy Verity. Tracy S. at Verity. Join today, as a matter of fact. All right, so Tracy, send your email if you rewatch this on replay. Okay, and Robin, that's our only moderator tonight, huh? Robin, you're the only moderator tonight. You got all the work, huh? Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to know, with all the insanity going on, how any kids get an education at University of Idaho. Well, that's true. It's true now. Both of them, WSU too. They had one guy die after the murder. They had at least one death over there at WSU. They got the police, the sergeant. They had predatory behavior, having sex on the campus. I mean, it's a lot of stuff that jumped out on WSU. The whole area between those two schools is too much going on. Way too much. I said that from the beginning. They wouldn't have had to kick me out. I would have told them, hey, y'all got too much going on in these two schools. I didn't come over here for this. I would have told them, when I leave Christmas, I'm going to have to find me somewhere else. Folks dying, getting stabbed. I would have had to. Yeah, you're right, Kelly. Shout out to Robin. She pulled it tonight by herself. Amy D was here. Okay, shout out to Amy. It must have been quick. I don't remember seeing Amy. She probably was. But you pulled it. You pulled it. Only moderator. I appreciate that. I'm going to send everybody some love. All right, Agape Love, have you heard JS is in Texas working for the same company as Kaylee Gonzalez? Showalter is in Texas working for the same company Kaylee was supposed to go work for. Okay, has that been verified? Has that been verified? That's what I want to know. Has it been verified? Has the information been vetted? I gotta have some evidence for stuff like that. I need some evidence. I can't remember the source, not confirmed by anyone. I can't remember. Well, that's something we can check out. Because we need some evidence on that. Why was it valid death penalty? Mormon, anyone? Well, these death penalty cases, they vary by state. First of all, it depends on what state you're in. And it also depends on how much you aggravated the victims. You can kill 6 people, but if you just shot all 6 of them, you might get life. But if you mutilated, you tortured, you prolong their death, you're going to get the death penalty. But you have to be in a state that has the death penalty, first of all. And then it depends on how much the victim suffered. Was it premeditated? A lot goes into deciding whether there's a death penalty. When I first started watching true crime, I would wonder why some people would get death penalty and some didn't. And it seemed like some of the ones that got it didn't do as much as the ones that didn't get it. Y'all ever been there? Seemed like halfway in, it's like, oh, you're going to get the death penalty. And then at the end, the judge gives them life. Who does that? And then the judge gives them life, and then the one that killed one person and riding around with them in the trunk, they got the death penalty. I just don't understand. I don't get it. All right, good people. We're going to have to start shutting it down. I'm going to leave the chat open. And anybody have something to say, or y'all are still gossiping. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this chat open. And anybody that would like to contribute, you can always use Cash App or PayPal. And thank you for those that did give tonight. Thank you very much. We got 15 in chat revenue. I appreciate that. Let me send some love over here. I appreciate each and every one of you, whether you were able to give or not. We had a good discussion tonight. It was a lot of speculation, but sometimes that's when we get the best ideas, like what happened tonight. I wrote down 2 or 3 things to investigate that I hadn't thought about. So I would say that the discussion was very successful. I'm satisfied with it. And so I think this weekend, tomorrow and Saturday anyway, these videos that I make will maybe try to answer some of these questions. We didn't get to JonBenet tonight, but if you want, we can just put it off for a week or whatever, because I'm gonna be making more JonBenet videos. So hopefully, if you haven't watched the JonBenet video, please have a look and give it a like if you don't mind. I mean, this case, I'm gonna be following the JonBenet, not following it since only person left living, I think, is the dad and the brother. Some of the suspects have passed away, but I will be covering that case as much as I can because I want to do it as a tribute to JonBenet. So if you haven't had a chance to look at the JonBenet Ramsey inside job video and give it a like. Right now, I think it's got like 16 likes. And I knew it wasn't going to be the most popular video on the channel, but I think we can pull in a few more views. All right, so if you haven't watched the JonBenet, please check that out and please stop by and give it a like. And I think unless somebody else has some business here, then I'm going to just leave the chat open for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. All right. Well, I think we got the same person in here giving, still giving. AF, I didn't even know you were in here. Wow, I got a guardian angel, y'all. I believe this is the Archangel Michael disguised as AF. Is that crazy? Because AF is always giving to me. I don't know why AF is always on this channel giving. But AF is always on this channel giving. The family didn't do it. I thank you. I thank you, AF. Let me give you a shout out and some love. $20 super chat, AF. Okay, that bumped us up to 35. What's up? That's great. That's great. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. That's great. As soon as I say, hey, you done enough, here you come again. I thank you for that. I do. Thank you, thank you, thank you for supporting the channel. And thank you all for coming out and us gathering around, doing what we have to do. And I just appreciate that so much. You all are awesome. And AF, I done said thank you so many times. You got them all. You done drained me dry. I got to re-up on thank yous. That's how hard you've been rolling. And I appreciate you. God knows I do. Don't even think I don't. Words cannot describe. I'm telling you. We just about to the point where we can get rid of the V logo. I said I didn't want to start back paying for my subscription until I could keep doing it. Because the last time I did it, I was right back to the free trials or, the free use level. And I didn't want to do that again. But I think we're just about to where we can get rid of this logo and have access to more features. All right, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. All right, and so thank you to everyone. Thank you, AF. And let's see. LA. Thank you, LA. Thank you, Robin Latham. Thank you, everybody that gave. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, that's everybody on the chat, because even if you posted a chat, you gave. You posted in the chat, you gave. All right. So you all, I'm going to leave this chat open for 5 more minutes. But I am going to sign off. All right? And so God bless you. And I will be posting videos throughout the weekend and on Sunday. I may not be online to comment until late in the evening on Sunday. Because you know I go out of town to church. So I might not be answering anybody the first half of the day on Sunday, or not too much. And then once I get back home, you know, I can pick it back up. So don't think I skipped town Sunday for the first half, because I have obligations. All right. We got 49 likes. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You're beautiful. You did a great job tonight. We got some awesome ideas. And I will be talking with you probably on the next video that I post. All right? God bless. And I will post the thank you and welcome members information tomorrow on the community page. All right? And thank you, everyone.